Welcome back to Contemporary Black Voices, where today's subject talks about microaggressions among Black academia folks. Um, I want to make an observation here, going back to Dr. Bailey, who's now deceased from Lincoln University. The president was white, and one of the arguments that she made to her friends was that he wasn't supportive of her, that she was depressed. And the board also came back and said, we don't support, we don't respond to those issues. So this woman did not have support from the board. And of course, the president was also bullying her. So we have a situation to where we have this Black professor, Black administrator on a campus that was traditionally an HBCU who could not get the support needed to be successful on her job. So, Fred, I know that on the first segment, we were talking about a meme that you posted on Facebook, where you said that, the meme said basically, if your kids are not being taught by, what the meme say?
It was about to allow the enemy to educate your kids.
Right. Yeah.
So at an HBCU, should we allow the enemy to lead our kids?
Are you making a statement then that every white person is the enemy? Because
No.
I can tell you a white man at University of Texas San Antonio that if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have had a black studies. I can tell you a white man at UTSA that he helped number of blacks out of UTSA get into law schools. There was not, I had never considered him an enemy, okay? Never considered him. We've had a white man on this show, Lane Denton, who in the 70s with the Texas state legislature, he helped get Eddie Bernice Johnson, he helped get Mickey Leland, and he helped get a number of blacks elected into the state legislature. I don't consider him an enemy. So maybe when it was the Chinese that made that statement to Howard Thurman, that's back in the 30s. Okay, you all arguing that nothing has changed, number one. Number two, I didn't know we were talking about teaching positions. Because if you're talking about teaching positions, I agree that it's good for blacks to be in the classroom. We're talking about an administrative position. So don't switch it up on me. Let's stay consistent if you want to make the discussion.
So I mean, there's always a few good ones. John Brown was a good one. We could go back through history and find a few good apples in the barrel. But I mean, we're talking about the entire, not only faculty, but just the entire administration,
Right.
And what they should look like, and they play a major at these universities. The administration plays a major role in as far as the education of these kids, as far as the resources that are available. I mean, administration plays a major role. But the other point was, they had this white guy who was accused of academic bullying, but it's just not in academia. It's these aggressions that are all over the office place, right? All throughout. Whenever black women think that they've broken through the glass ceiling, they find out that the white boys have placed bars over that glass ceiling. There was a sister who wrote a paper. I forgot her name. She wrote a paper called about from Pet to Threat, which is about how black women, they're a novelty initially, and then once they start getting promoted or they start showing their work acumen in the workplace, all of a sudden they become a threat.
Let me ask
So,
you.
and so it goes from a situation where the sisters walk into the break room and the white women, they go from hey to all of a sudden now it's this awkward silence. You know what I mean? And so that it's a real phenomenon. Whereas these you have these aggressions in the workplace. Go ahead, brother.
Let me ask you, if Dr. Gay had refused to testify, if Dr. Gay had answered the questions the way Stefanik asked,
And,
would she have gotten fired?
Let me say. So Dr. Gay, the lawyers who were hired by Harvard Corporation were sitting right behind her. Her successor was sitting right behind her. You can see on the tape, he's mouthing the words the answers that she's given, because these were the answers that the board told the lawyers to coach her to give. So you have a choice. You could go against the Harvard Corporation, the board, and give a different answer than what the lawyers want you to give, or you can give, the answer that they. So my thing is, there's oh my goodness, there's a university right
So
now.
you don't want to answer my question?
Has she answered what Stefanik said? Would she still? And so
Would
this
she
is
have been fired?
And so let me continue. So
Yes.
right now, there's an issue with, I think it's the University of Chicago. The University of Chicago is now in trouble. They're being accused of violating free speech because there was a pro-Palestinian protest. The University of Chicago brought in police officers, broke up the protest, arrested some of the students. So now they're being accused of violation of free speech. So with Dr. Gay, it's either are you going to support free speech, or are you going to, or are you anti-Semitic? So she was placed in a no-win situation.
plus Stefanik had already had an issue
Right.
with Harvard.
With Harvard.
And I want to answer specifically to Fred and to what he asked. Yes, if she answered the way that Stefanik had wanted her to answer, she still would have been fired.
Why?
Because she would have went against what the lawyers and the other people were telling her to do. So she would, to a certain degree, almost been insubordinate.
So that you're not making an argument. Go ahead, Shannon.
One of the things that I want to bring up is when I was a chair for our university, department chair, and had to go on TV to present a program, I had to go through media training. And they told me exactly what to say, how to say it, when to say it. So I can see where Dr. Gay was in that same position, to where she had a team of attorneys doing the media training with her. So there is, for people in administrative positions who have to go on TV and even to these congressional hearings, that they got to go through training prior to their presentation.
We've took this.
Still asking you, you're saying she would have been fired. So was she being fired because she's black, or was she being fired because she went against what Harvard wanted her to say?
Well, let me say it this way. You cannot predict what may have happened, okay?
You just did.
I did, yeah, because you asked a question and you wanted a specific answer. And I said, yes, she would have been fired. So your question then came back was, would she have done this, or would she have been fired just because she was black? And I'm saying we can't get into the minds of what those people may have thought. But she was, as Caleb had talked about, she was in a no-win situation. When she answered the questions the way they were put to her and given the answers from the lawyers that were in back of her, she was chastised for that. When wait a minute, and if she gave another answer that was contrary to that, then she would have been insubordinate and she would have been fired for that.
So it wasn't because she was
And
black.
they would have also accused her
So it wasn't
of being
because she was
against
black.
free speech.
Can you say that? Can you definitively say that?
You're making the argument, not me.
Okay, so to
You're
help
making
answer the
argument
question,
that it wasn't because
she would
was
have
black.
she would have been fired as president of the university because she went against the training that she had on how to answer those questions. Now, if it's because she was black, I'm going to say no on that. But she was attacked, and even though it may not be a clear black or white thing, the issue is that at that level, especially at this congressional hearing, there was some pretty high level microaggressions being thrown against her.
And those other presidents of universities basically, I think, answered the questions in the same way she did.
They don't have to
But
pick
was the
lawyers.
other lady fired because she's white?
They had the same.
No, the other lady quit.
No, the other lady, they
She was
accused her.
gonna be fired.
They accused her of anti-Semitism because she allowed a Palestinian meeting at Penn. Okay, so that's as far as she goes. As far as Dr. Gay goes, the question was about free speech, and so she gave the answer. Does that constitute, a violation of free speech, or does it constitute anti-Semitism? So you have to choose on the university campus. Is it free speech or is free speech allowed? You know what I mean? So they placed her. She was in a rock and a hard place. Again, Stefanik already had an axe to grind. 2 months before, and the other thing is, 2 months before this hearing, this Ackman had already sent her a message about her not supporting Jewish students, not supporting Asian students, and not support. He basically said the only people and white students, the only people you support are black students and LGBT students. He already had an axe to grind against her. So, and remember, this sister had only been in that position for 6 months before she was hauled in. So yeah, she was going to lean on the lawyer, on the lawyers and the lawyer's response. You know what I mean? Because she's a brand new president as well. So I mean, I'm not sure what are the answer that you're looking for.
I asked the question, and you said everything but that. It wasn't because she was black.
I think it was. I think it was. They had an axe to grind against her. Ackman had an axe to grind against her because she was black. I think that once the attacks that came after that woman, after the door was open because she gave the lawyerly answer, those were racist attacks. They were questioning this woman's everything about this woman's history. They were questioning her scholarship. They were questioning her intellect. So with these other women, you didn't see them questioning their intellect, but they questioned the black woman's intellect.
Let me say this. I think an answer to your question is that this lady was attacked on several different platforms.
So it wasn't just black.
Well, it was all because she was black, but
You just said other platform.
I'm saying many because, okay, Stefani, she didn't want her because she was black, okay? The people at Harvard, what? You don't think the people?
You can't get in somebody like you try to get in my head. You don't know what a person's reason unless they come out and say it, okay? You can't say what her reason was.
Oh, I think Stefani.
It might have been all political.
No, I think Stefani has come out and said that.
Ackman's email is out there.
Yeah, I think that has
you
already
only
been
protect blacks
established.
and LGBTs.
Yeah.
And the other thing,
So she came out and said
Yeah.
her
I
inbox.
want her fired because she's black.
She came out and said her
Stefani said that?
inbox was filled with racist emails. She came out and said
That's fine.
she had to have extra protection. No president in Harvard's history has had to have
What's that
extra
got to
protection.
do with what I just said?
Because you have DEI. You have DEI.
You can't say what another person's. Stefani might have been playing to the Jews because she wants to be vice president with Trump.
And
It may have been all political with her.
And
It didn't have nothing
Well,
to do
you
with
know,
being black.
and I did read something where Ackman was saying that she was a DEI hire.
Right.
You know,
Who said that?
Ackman.
Oh, I don't know about him.
Yeah.
I'm talking
He's the
about
lead.
Stefani.
He's the lead attacker.
Yeah. So he did say that she was a DEI hire. And so anytime you hear DEI hire, that's a dog whistle
Right.
saying you hired this person
You're right,
because
yeah.
they are black.
Right.
Oh,
Go ahead.
real quick. So I'm gonna let you close it off.
No, go ahead.
So this is a discussion that we'll probably be having more and more because of these anti-DEI rules. But I think the thing that we have to keep in mind is that there is a lot of microaggressions being called at Black people in various industries, not just higher education. So be on the lookout. Ask those people, do you need help? How can I help you? And with that being said, thank you for listening to Contemporary Black Voices.